Good afternoon. In today's bulletin, NYA boss announces government plans to provide funds for massive infrastructure projects. Also coming up, EC extends voter exhibition. We are ready for second-year students, Eastern Regional Head Teachers. Ahead in business, Puma Energy, first oil marketing company in Ghana to receive ISO certifications. Later on our international front, Colombians rise against injustice. It's Thursday, September 24, 2020. Good afternoon. Welcome to Pan-African News. My name is Abena, Dede. We come your way in the next 1 hour with details of these stories and some others. Do stay with us. Thank you for staying. This is Pan-African News here on Pan-African Television. We are live on Facebook at Pan-African Television. We are live in our studios here, 48 Swanika Street, Abelimpe. Now, the news in detail. The Electoral Commission, EC, has extended the voters exhibition exercise from Friday, September 25 to Sunday, September 27, 2020.
According to the election management body, it is part of effort to serve the interests of its stakeholders and promote greater participation and inclusion. The Commission in a statement said it was of the view that the extension will allow more stakeholders to check and verify their voters' registration details. The last day of the exhibition exercise will therefore be Sunday, 27 September 2020. The Commission has encouraged the public to take advantage of the extension by making time to verify their registration details. Voters may verify their registration details by visiting their exhibition centers or by sending their voters' ID numbers to the short code 1422. The exhibition exercise has, however, witnessed several anomalies, including duplication of names, missing names and similar serial numbers for different voters. The main opposition, National Democratic Congress, NDC, has expressed worry over the anomalies, but the EC says the exhibition is meant to correct such irregularities, describing it as normal.
Now, away from that, the Ministry of Education has commenced the third phase
for the exercise and assured students of safety as they return to school.
As we have a COVID-19 management team in the school, which look at how to control and manage the system in case we have any recorded case of the disease. Last time on the 22nd June 2020, when we opened for the third years, the final year students, when they came, we have that team, and then in fact they did effective job, and we are going to replicate the same thing when the second years also come.
So we are prepared in the sense that we've put all the measures in place so far as the COVID social distance is concerned. The spacing in the dormitory, the classroom are the same as was done the previous one. Where we had 25 students in a class, and then also the dormitory too, we had 18 students in a class. So we are doing safe for this time around to, as the second year, both green and gold track students come. Yeah.
The Eastern Regional Manager of Zoom Lion Ghana Limited, George Agauzi, expatiated on the exercise being undertaken by his outfit.
Disinfection for the SHS and then technical and vocational schools within the Eastern region. We have 140 SHS and technical schools that we are disinfecting this morning. And then my team are virtually in all the districts, in all the schools. And hopefully we'll be finished by Saturday. We should be done with all the secondary schools, and then the schools will be ready for schools to reopen. It's going well. We are having one or two challenges with some of the schools because some headmasters are not available, but we are putting phone calls through and then they are making themselves available. So I think in all, it is good, and then my team is poised for action, so we are in every school, making sure that we disinfect every school so that school can start. That's the chlorine and another approved chemical from Noguchi. We are working with Noguchi consultant, so we have other chemicals in addition to the chlorine that we are using. And then the various schools have really cooperated with us, and we have a good relationship with the educational office in the region. We usually take it up from the regional education director, who also disseminates the information to the district directors, and then we get the contact numbers of the various headmasters of the schools.
Now, Ghana's current EHS leader of the moment, 57-year-old Madame Elizabeth Tiamo, has opined about her life and revealed that she has high hopes of seeing her ambitions through. Speaking to my colleague Ivan Aban, she also expressed her interest in becoming an assemblywoman in the Esikuma Odobin Brakwa constituency. There's more to this.
So we are in the Esikuma Odobe Brakwa constituency here in the Kojokuma community in Ghana. Of course, like I said, the central region of Ghana. And upon our tour, we came across one amazing woman who is 57 years, obviously running to 60, and appreciates the essence of education. And so we'll be having a conversation with her to find out what actually prompted a decision to still, as it were, venture into education and educate herself at her age, at age 57, almost getting to 60. Mommy, good morning.
Good morning.
What's today? Yes, you. She said, "Nemana, bit tired there. Mammy, be had their Oko school with 57 years. Now, you know, met you come and I abbey and the abbey told Haddy. Now, very bit of first question. Now, I don't know, Oma, them Nyansan, if I should say, another prompt decision, they're okay. At 280, my main store in school.
Yo, as some papa, Yamena Medana sister, in the dream, mobile crew dream. I'm on your barber teacher uncommon. Yet, say, tell me, Yabo friend, no manage school. And see, my food, you go to school. To me do class 4, na papa ni, me papa no film. Until film na se mamma na hom entum emboa. Na o se me ja school. Ti me ja man ya me na na se me digwa na me ye akueduma me digwa me ye akueduma. Na so na school ni di na de makoma pon so pa se school ni de se na ti be se me wunta ma me ko school no. Na de makoma pon so se I teach a business and time I am for business school. We will school in future, I will be a nurse.
In future, you be a nurse.
Yes. In future, I will be a nurse and an maker. But any no class said, nurse, you want the net the mark of my point to say, Meko. And see, maybe me bride, you baby, no, Mrs. Debbie, no milk, and to me, corner, ye queen accidents. Now, Mamma missing poetry. And so you know, when I am my son, my papa, Mrs. School in the Magnet, be a Meko. And see, Meko markets, and I met Tommy Squat, I met Tommy Papa, maybe be a. Now, me you call. No, I don't more pammy. To up me, you and a mission, Madame Meko School. And to Meko, let me go home, teachers in some percent maybe school. Ah, now for you, young queen, not just as some day one. No, I say, Madame, we will be school, Mr. I may be school and Casa. Now, when you make coffees, or could you make you register? No, I think I may start to form 2, Mr. Debbie, may perceive who know may be means I start to form 1. Now, I may start to form 1. I may think a crying a mere doom, and come and find a year, maybe bachelor, be easy. Now, ye are rebuying tea, was stop with and see, I may have 29th June. A best sat at school. Now, my quite my final year. Me come, me and me. Never come on mine so. Send your baby beautiful.
That's it. School na eloquent. Eloquent, wow. That's a comma on mine. Chemasaka.
Send your beautiful who say, education has no end. Education has no end. If you say, Obi will back me, no, you send that brabo where you na brabo. Yeah, back compo. I grow under being who began me school. Oh, was a man, my back was some pessimical school. Let me ferry, Miss would there be me ferry? No, shall me mempo, me school. Damn, my friend would jail school. I wanted to feel Wash him possible ma, no catching mammy, no go school. And to boy back, that could not from us, auntie, Miss More from a ma. One from a schoolgirl because I'm a schoolgirl, and some more from ma. And see, of us in your me shrunk. Me jail school cram, me yamma, me yam, papa and mammy, yammy, be as I mean, go school, Miss Menko. Now, so that could mammy smammy. And why the men was so she was quite in a bag of witchy. Because Ojan would dean us. Ah, mammy, go school, that Miss Melko school. And so, how could you no catch and mammy say, well, mammy be all school to a school. And see, school manager, my mamma, baby, I was just school 3 years to I start to walk school. And just, and I'm not going to walk school.
So, here then, it's your school fees, it's to books now. The obviously education this actually this cash account. Here then you them skin near.
Says you could you come home one. If you're quiet, I couldn't see a bassa. And see, a bit of her, my Nancy. A bit was your Nancy. A bit was your drivers in Numa. I won't fend away for me. A bit of her or Jimmy's Cobisu in Jimmy's car. And see, Chesa, me who say, one word domino bro, one domino so. Nti nya dia major school and nanu menu we nanu menu we na yempanyufo mpoche de we tu kwan nti obia nti we din ka bi we sam bi sam de me ye de na me ko school me ko adwuma ma ye me koko kakra ma ye me befu so kakra mpoche
to all the first JHS leavers, especially Mrs. Elizabeth Yamwa, aka Lizzie Baby. Now, away from that, Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Authority, Sylvester Tete, has announced that government has provided funds for infrastructural projects to be constructed for youth development and progress. At a press conference held in Accra, he cited the list of projects to be built in bettering the life of young people.
The government has provided funds for massive infrastructure projects, and these include construction of 10 youth resource centers across the country, construction of 2 astroturfs, construction of 2 astroturfs, first lift and finishing of the national and regional and district offices, construction of 4 300-bed capacity dormitories in 4 youth and leadership training institutes, construction of 2 1,000-seating capacity multi-purpose halls in 2 youth leadership skill training institutes, Sandema in the Upper East, Nalerugu in the northern regions, construction of 8 classroom blocks with a library, ICT center at the Issa Youth Leadership and Training Institute as well, youth resource centers of excellence to unearth and develop talent while providing the Ghanaian youth with a one-stop shop to assess both sporting and non-sporting training and non-sporting activities, training and recreational facilities. The authority, with support of its ministry, is constructing the 10 youth resource locations of these facilities. One in Greater Accra at Azuma Nursing Sports Complex. You go to Volta region at Adaklu, that is Ho. You go to the Eastern region at Koforidia. You go to Western region at Axim. You go to Central region at Dukwa Onofin. You go to Ashanti region at Nyenehini. You go to Bono in the Doma at Hinkro. You go to Upper West in Wa. You go to Upper East in Nabrongo and Yendi in the Northern region. The component of phase 1 for the centers include a FIFA standard football pitch, 8-lane Olympic-sized running track, a 4 spectator stands including a VIP stand, a tennis court, a multi-purpose court, a basketball, volleyball, netball, and a handball, as well as a gymnasium, a hall for indoor games and activities, example, table tennis and badminton. Non-sporting activities at these centers that you find are mentoring and coaching and counseling centers over there. ICT Hub is also there. Business incubation and entrepreneurship skills hub, youth clinic, hostel facilities at some selected centers, a restaurant, and a Hall of Fame parlor to showcase local achievers at all these centers across the country. Component of phase 2 for the centers include erection of outer perimeter fence wall, erection of inner perimeter fence wall, entrances and ticketing booths, as well as floodlights and then scoreboards. Completed work for phase 1 are expected to be handed over to government by end of October, and then phase 2 begins. We are hopeful that we are commissioning at least 7 of these before end of November. Construction of 2 astroturfs. 2 modern astroturfs are under construction at Tuba in the South Municipality of Greater Accra Region and Mampontin in the Efijakwabre Municipality of the Ashanti Region. This is a contribution to government commitment to promote recreation and sporting activities for youth in these 2 and other earmarked communities. These astroturfs comes with FIFA standard pitch. This is the FIFA standard pitch we are building. A spectator stand, a changing rooms, washing rooms, inner perimeter fencing, outer perimeter fences, and a business center for that matter. The National Youth Authority, with strong support of government, has positioned itself as an apex youth development agency to take up the challenge of affecting policy in the areas of job creation, business development, entrepreneurship, education, health, sports, and light. With the strides made and the interventions put in place, I can declare that the coming years will be the period for youth development and progress. The Ghana Youth Federation will be in place, and the Youth Parliament will provide the platform for young people to partake in governance of this country. The volunteer
Meanwhile,
program.
the Chief Executive Officer of the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, John Kuma, has disclosed that his outfit is seeking to build a center of economic for women who are into entrepreneurship. Addressing a press conference held in Accra, he revealed that this will ease burden of women who migrate from the north to the urban areas.
Seeking to build a center for economic empowerment and entrepreneurship training for KIA in Ghana. And as we speak, we have the Ministry of Business Development, as part of its initiative, has come face to face with the reality of young girls who have to migrate from northern Ghana to urban areas to see greener pastures. So through the NEIP and the presidential business support program, we are seeking to build a KIA hostel to become a center for entrepreneurship empowerment for our KIA in Ghana. And this is how the KIA hostel is going to look like, but for land. In fact, we had land to start. We have awarded a contract, but a little litigation about ownership of the land between Kolebu Hospital and AMA, we could not start the implementation. As soon as land issues are resolved, this project is going to be implemented for KIA in Ghana. Funding is secured for it. So if you look at the impact of NEIP models in the past 3 years, the major focus is to set up the agency as an enabler for the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Ghana. And in the past 4 years, we have been able to train about 50,000 startups and SMEs into relatable space of growth. And we have provided funding and technical support to about 10,000 businesses and SMEs, receiving minimum of 2,000 cedis to a maximum of 100,000 Ghana cedis. And out of that, about 100,000 direct jobs have been created on the value chain. All this have been done in the past 3.5 years.
The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwife Association, GRNMA, has called off its strike section, which began on Monday, September 21, 2020. Addressing the media at a press conference yesterday, the president of the association, Perpetual Ofori-Ampofo, announced that the nurses and midwives will fully resume work today. Now, prior to this, we will be joined in on phone by some of our correspondents in the various regions to give us update on that. I believe Isaac Kocher from the Ashanti region is on phone. Hello, Isaac. Good afternoon. Hello, Isaac. Isaac is online. Isaac, good afternoon. Welcome to Pan African News.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much.
Hello, Isaac.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, Isaac is online, but I think our reception is very poor, so we are trying as much as possible to connect with him. So, Isaac, if you can hear me, kindly tell us the current situation in the the Ashanti region. Tell us where you are currently and what is happening.
Yeah, this morning we know some people is taken to some of the hospitals within the Ashanti region, where most of the government employed nurses are currently working. This morning I went to the SDA hospital as far as well, and also to visit some few, stations in the Kofoano teaching hospital. When we went to the C block in the Kofoano teaching hospital, we realized that all the nurses have all returned on post following the strike that they went with regards to some, conditional services that way they lacked. And of course, we all know that the nurses have been on strike ago to agitate for some condition of services that they believe that the government should employ those into them to make them work effectively. But as I'm speaking to you, again, the nurses have been returned to work. We spoke to some few people and all that are taking care of some patients at various hospitals who told us that the strike of the nurses have really caused them a mayhem, especially those people who have been admitted at the hospital. But since the resumption of the nurses, it seems this morning.
Isaac, can you please position yourself well?
Yes, I was thinking the competition hospital where we realized that yes, currently and also went to the where we also realized all the nurses are currently on post. The facilities who are taking care of the patient, they told us that the absence of the nurses have really caused a mayhem, but since the resumption they resumed this morning, they've been currently working effectively and they're really happy about the current situation of the nurses. So this is currently the situation right now. We can.
Okay, thank you so much, Isaac. So that was our Ashanti regional correspondent, Isaac Ochre, who visited some hospitals in the Ashanti region, giving us update with regards to the nurses and midwives resumption to work. Now, Wendy Kudu is in the OT region of Ghana. She's also going to give us update on that. Hello, Wendy. Good afternoon. Okay, we are trying as much as possible to connect with Wendy, but do not forget that this is Pan African News here on Pan African Television. We are live on Facebook at Pan African Television, and so you can send in your thoughts, your comment to our Facebook page, and if time permits us, we read gladly for you. We gladly do that for you. Send in your thoughts, your comment 0260846539 0260846539. If Wendy is online, Wendy, if you can hear me, good afternoon. Welcome to Pan African News. Okay, so let's go for this quick break. We return shortly with more.
It's incredible! Bang on target!
Okay, so we do know that nurses and midwives went on strike, and now they have called off the strike action. And we have our OT regional correspondent, Wendy Kudu, to give us update. Hello, Wendy. Good afternoon. Hello.
Hello.
Wendy, good afternoon. Welcome to Pan African News. Okay, Wendy, tell us currently where are you and what is happening?
Good afternoon to all our viewers. I'm currently at Whole Barracks Hospital. And speaking to some few nurses about the of work today. They said actually they didn't allow the strike to affect them, even though there was strike, they were still coming to work. So they didn't allow the strike to affect them because their duties is to save lives, not to take out lives, even though they know that the government is owing them, but they're sitting at home while lives are being lost is not the best thing. So for them, even though there was strike within these few days, they still come to work, perform their duties as health workers.
Okay, so Wendy, how many hospitals did you visit so far? How many hospitals have you visited so far?
So far, it's only Whole Water Barracks Hospital.
Wendy, we'll get back to you on this. Thank you so much. All right, we are still on the nurses' strike. Yes, they've called off the strike, and we are speaking to our correspondent across the various regions to give us updates in some hospitals, how the situation is, the current situation in the various hospitals. Raphael is online. Raphael is in the central region of Ghana. Raphael, good afternoon. Okay, let's move to our next story. The West African bloc ECOWAS will likely decide on Friday whether to lift potentially crippling sanctions imposed on Mali after the last month's coup. The mediator, Nigerian former President Goodluck Jonathan, called the 15-nation bloc sanctions unfortunate during a visit to Mali's capital, Bamako.
West African leaders have heaped pressure on the ruling military junta to return power to civilians since the coup overthrew President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta on August 18, 2020. ECOWAS has issued the sanctions which include closing borders and restricting trade as leverage in negotiations with the junta. Sticking points in these negotiations have included whether civilians or soldiers will run a transition government until fresh elections. The junta asked for the sanctions to be lifted this week after former Defense Minister Ba Endo was named interim president, tasked with governing for at most 18 months before holding post. The 70-year-old retired colonel will be sworn in on Friday alongside junta leader Colonel Assimi Goïta, who will serve as interim vice president. According to the transition plan adopted by the junta, Endo will then appoint a prime minister with a decision expected within a few days. After an assessment of the junta's progress in returning order to the country, Jonathan revealed that ECOWAS was eager to make a decision on the sanctions. He added that it was up to Ghanaian President and current ECOWAS leader Nana Akufo-Addo to announce the decision. Mali's neighbors are anxious to avoid a fragile nation of some 19 million people slipping into chaos. Swathes of the vast country already lie outside of the government's control due to a lethal jihadist insurgency that first emerged in 2012 and has also inflamed ethnic tensions. Keen to set an example to other countries, ECOWAS has taken a hard line threatening a total embargo on the country should the junta install military leaders of an interim government. Current restrictions ban commercial trade and financial flows, but not basic necessities, drugs, equipment to fight coronavirus, fuel or electricity. ECOWAS said at a summit on September 15 that the sanctions will be lifted as soon as its conditions were met, including the appointment of a civilian president and prime minister. But the junta has yet to respond to other ECOWAS demands, such as the release of other officials detained during the coup, such as Ulster Prime Minister Babao Sise. Economist Etienne Fakaba Sissoko said that the sanctions compelled with the coronavirus pandemic meant that Mali was barreling into a recession. Before the coup, the Sahel country had already been facing an economic downturn, aggravated by the jihadist insurgency and chronic inter-ethnic violence. It was frustrations over this intractable conflict plus economic concerns and perceived corruption which spurred anti-Keïta protesters onto the street this year, with the building unrest culminating in the coup.
Okay, so Raphael from Central Region is online. Raphael, good afternoon. If you can hear me, we understand the nurses and midwives have fully resumed work today. Tell us more on that. Raphael, I can hear you. Kindly go ahead. Hello? Okay, so the presidential candidate of the opposition National Democratic Congress, ex-president John Dramani Mahama, will at 11 o'clock today speak to the nation on the integrity challenges of the electoral process and unfolding events that threaten to undermine Ghana's stability and democracy. So Pan-African Television will bring you live coverage of the much anticipated address. So don't forget to join us at 1 o'clock p.m. today in the afternoon. Now, vitiligo is a long-term skin condition characterized by patches of the skin losing their pigment, and patches of the skin affected become white and usually have sharp margins. The hair from the skin may also become white. The inside of the mouth and nose may also be involved. There's more on this report.
Typically, both sides of the body are affected often. The patches begin on areas of skin that are exposed to the sun. It is more noticeable in people with dark skin. Vitiligo may result in psychological stress, and those affected may be stigmatized. The exact cause of vitiligo is unknown, could be attributed to genetic susceptibility that is triggered by an environmental factor such as an autoimmune disease, which results in the destruction of skin pigment cells. Risk factors include a family history of the condition or other autoimmune diseases such as hyperthyroidism. Risk factors include a family history of the condition or other autoimmune diseases such as hyperthyroidism, alopecia areata, and pernicious anemia. It is not contagious. Vitiligo is classified into two main types, segmental and non-segmental. Most cases are non-segmental, meaning they affect both sides. In these cases, the affected area of the skin typically expands with time. About 10% of cases are segmental, meaning they mostly involve one side of the body. And in these cases, they affect areas of the skin typically that's not expand with time. Diagnosis can be confirmed by tissue biopsy. There is no known cure for vitiligo. For those with light skin, sunscreen and makeup are all that is typically recommended. Other treatment options may include steroids, cream, or therapy to darken the light patches. Alternatively, efforts to lighten the unaffected skin, such as with hydroquin, may be tried. Several surgical options are available for those who do not improve with other measures. A combination of treatments generally has better outcomes. Counseling to provide emotional support may be useful. Globally, about 1% of people are affected by vitiligo. In some populations, it affects as many as 2.3%. Males and females are equally affected. About half show the disorder before age 20 and most develop it before age 40.
That's all for the local news for this bulletin. Now we come your way with some business news after the short break.
Breakfast a day. Every day. Every day.
Nestle. Good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
breakfast of the day, every day.
Nestle, good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, in the world of business, Puma Energy Distribution Ghana Limited is one of the leading oil marketing companies. OMC in the Ghana has been assessed and certified as meeting the all ISO requirements under the Satisfactory Surveillance Audit of the SGS Ghana.
Puma Energy Oil Marketing Company has been awarded Quality Management Systems, Environmental Management Systems, and Occupational Health and Safety Management Systems. This makes Puma Energy the first oil marketing company to be certified in all three major standards in Ghana. The international organization ISO, in an independent, non-governmental, globally recognized network that develops standards and guides to ensure the quality, safety, and efficiency of products, services, and systems. The general manager of Puma Energy, Henry Osei, expressed his excitement at the certification. According to him, it is a firm attestation of the company's strong systems and a reaffirmation of all the processes that Puma Energy has across all its business to business sites, business units, and functions. He further stressed that Puma Energy embarked on the journey for ISO certification to carry out one of their biggest values, to lead by example and to express to the rest of the market that their process are tried and tested and will stand the test of time internationally and locally. Regional Managing Director of SGS Ghana, a leading inception, verification, testing and certification company, Kiki Jan, congratulated Puma Energy for setting the pace. He stated that 3 certifications prove that Puma Energy has an effective system in place and is committed to ensuring continuous improvement in its integrated management processes.
Now, lotto marketing companies operating under the National Lottery Authority are alleging financial malfeasance at the NLA. The lotto marketing companies are accusing the Director General of the NLA, Kofi Ameya, of attempts to seed out NLA to Kid GH Limited, a private lotto operator. Thus, more on this.
To find out exactly what the challenges are. I've had several reports about, the business not doing well. What is exactly happening with your line of business?
The National Lotteries machines, where 2 types of machines, where simnet machine, where lot machine, where simnet machine. They can work at Chuni. They can be a product say no home. Kwame Kuma Feni and the sense except National Lotteries. Ni ekamla for Yakeshe. Ni na hone. Ni esa academy ko ho ekwo revenue ni ba. National Lottery say government take abachu man bi ahenu tumo. Afi besane where no tumo mi ni won chu won chu won aka no tumo egbe shikura where store sabi ahe no koloko people were in the so many ways akashi ko ye no tumo mi no afasika ka ba hwe machine say no kura ko denche maybe ko ba denche e ko ko ba ho ni 26 many ka wo try ne ke no tumo na emi e ko meji kid ne ke kid ne e ba akashi e bani e ba ho e ba e product aba fita wo product any wo here ni iketuni ameba abeke game ko ba ke lucky 3 jino na member number fi e wo ye mi a wo na ka me ho abefi abe lucky 3 that kind of thing she be no ba ke wo na ame ke star 959 hash ebon mobile ni na fame product say ni it's illegal. Be onu mishishi ewo ni wona ni ene use of NLA lego they can deceive public ewo ni wona na kapeni wo shashikete wo DJ ego ni the Director General ni wo ya bola mania kechi ne kid ne ba ne ke ba chun lucky 3 this time round this is what he's doing using the code star 959 ash ni ke deceive public they are buying from I'm used like a short code they can chelo to it can learn no about it when they feel like one ma petition NCA be could I stop from using that short code no one ma petition we His Excellency Nana Ado koni ekwana kan jame in ha chi ni egbe wo ni tumo shishi because ke water store say me ba na me chi ya me phone say no.
The main issue has got to do like kid in online services, which it's illegal. It's illegal.
Like bag machine ni ke ba ha soja fo ye. Bona. She wo ye me no be no wa ka na ke product say issue no. Ni strategy ni ke fe ni eji akeshi was simulate machine ke lot machine payment kwa oye apayable oya but you register even 50% subscribe but you register but no dey cash we neke need 590 dey cash we be any this time run le lunch eji yin ake le lunch ke fun jemi apart from kid no which is illegal we call ye no le call ye call scan no scan ba nye babo money okani e ba call chom your wallet number ni put there no able to ojemi she eneme call ye oba register for about 1 month then about payable na gbele ro ni work ho ni eneme e ba face shortage ewo o sika ba nya dwele no
in the midst of all this suspect foul play ko alo no ko suspect no ko
true because beni eneme bako jeme kid bako jeme ene bako jeme wo ro ya okay ro ni wo use obi antone no ene de ke first it was a very big role need for them oh ni ne ko ba no use but this time around this is how it is no pode nche no ba na e ba tobo de no ba na ka ke ba de nche fi okope strategy e fi okope wo me fi okope ba na bi no ba ko no e no show office eta na gbele strategy ni di akese no ni di enu ake wo pay ni wo na echo ni is automation indirectly a court no commission echo bo no ba no mo it was not no kolik pa ko de na ya na bo akonta ke libi dani aba fe di ne e wo no hunji wo big problem am a commission ni appeal ame ni di meni me hu like a private note we am a commission is 30% ni wo meni wo tun government no wo no 20% bonus at the same time we pure hair time it was indirectly it's not 20%. Be onu mishishi wo bia pidi medi menjo fo ken ya heni ambanya me survive here because dem le call you no apebu she come ko bache ye no ni at least just 50 pesos 1 month fair na hale check ni epeku kekete bank they refuse to pay him they don't order any checks ni je na be ni tumo egbeshi no ne wona menya me pay win say no ni me ni sali man bi ahe ni ya NLA account me here but onu mishi it's rather go to private pockets operators say pockets. We are calling on government to remove the man there so that we get peace of mind. Ni ejeki there ejeme be odumisi koni boni mla at 722 ekọ akeshi wo pay this and wo whole national product it should be there for us like that. Wo lotto receivers say wo ifa 50,000 ke dependents e wo ke wo mahie nye no e wa wo ya nakajeme e bagbeleshi e wo won qualify wa den che ni ne ke yin baba ko libi pin ya no e jeme ye sika gbefan e wo bi aboni sika ba account say mi na ka no ji wo pay dilio means anya pay because kid e koska we kotoku emi me na me China bi ni ame server ba bi.
Now, wrapping up on business, government has announced the release of 3.5 billion Ghana cedis to the receiver of the collapsed banks and other financial institutions to pay debt-seekers' claims in cash and no longer in bonds. Debt-seekers who receive commercial paper in the form of bonds can liquidate the bonds immediately and receive cash without the payment of any penalty in the form of a discount.
The move by government is in response to protests from depositors who have argued that the bonds given to them in lieu of cash refunds of their locked-up deposits will lead them to lose up to half the value of these deposits. This is because the bonds issued will not pay interest but would only be converted into cash in 5 installments over 5 years. At the current inflation rate of 10.5% recorded for August 2020 and compounded over a 5-year period, this would mean that depositors would end up getting barely 40% of the value of their locked-up monies in today's terms. Their situation was further complicated by the fact that the bonds could only be redeemed through Consolidated Bank Ghana, which has been mandated to effect redemption of the bonds once a year. Some affected deposits claimed that the bank was offering discount rates as high as 25%, which would leave accepting depositors with only 75% of the face value of their bonds. The decision by government to pay fully depositors in cash thus puts the rest a potentially ugly standoff between the two. Depositors had been openly threatening to vote against the incumbent government at the impending general elections, a stance believed to have influenced the decision. It is not yet clear how government will finance the cash payments which have not been budgeted for.
Now let's move straight to our international news. Massive demonstrations were carried out in different Colombian cities in rejection of police brutality, economic crisis, mishandling of COVID-19 pandemic, and ceaseless assassination of social leaders. There's more to this.
21st, thousands of Colombians participated in a national strike across the country against the right-wing government of President Iván Duque. Several massive demonstrations were carried out in different cities in rejection of police brutality, economic crisis, mishandling of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the ceaseless assassination of social leaders. Citizens, members of various human rights organizations, left-wing political parties, social movements, and other organizations took to the streets throughout the country to express their discontent. Although the authorities assured that the police officers wouldn't carry firearms during the marches and repress the protests, the officials of the Mobile Anti-Disturbance Squadron (ISMAT) responded to the peaceful demonstrations with violent repression. According to reports, the ISMAT officers interrupted the mobilizations in Bogotá, Medellín, Popayán, and dispersed the crowd with tear gas. In addition, a large number of protesters were detained in these cities, and several others were injured. The Common Alternative Revolutionary Force (FARC) party also denounced the police actions. One of the central demands of the protests was justice for the 46-year-old law student and taxi driver Javier Ordóñez, who was tortured and murdered by 2 officers in Bogotá on September 9th. They also demanded justice for the 13 other people killed by the police on September 10th during the mobilizations demanding justice for Ordóñez. The deepening of the economic crisis and growing unemployment, which surpassed 20% in July, was another factor that motivated the protests. Various labor unions, pensioners, and students have been vocal in rejecting the recently approved Decree 1174, which imposes several regressive labor and pension reforms. The protesters also demanded the cessation of the wave of massacres hitting the country, as well as the systemic assassination of human rights leaders and social leaders in the country, as well as an end to violence against women and LGBTQI people. According to the Institute of Development and Peace Studies, INDEPAS, 246 people were killed in 61 massacres registered in Colombia until September 20th of this year. Since the signing of the peace agreements in November 2016 until today, over 1,000 social leaders and human rights defenders and over 200 ex-combatants and their family members have been assassinated.
Credit to our international partners, People's Dispatch, and the international desk in the newsroom for our international story. You're still watching the main bulletin of Pan-African News here on Pan-African Television.